Do you feel like your happiness depends on someone else? Are you tired of feeling incomplete without their validation, their presence, their approval? What if the strength you've been searching for is already inside you, and it's been waiting for you to wake it up? Let's be real. At some point, we've all thought, if they would just text me back, I'd feel okay. Or, if they loved me, I'd finally feel enough. We build our happiness like it's a house made of other people, and when they leave, it collapses. But what if I told you that the most powerful version of you doesn't need anyone to feel whole, not because you're bitter or closed off, but because you've learned how to live from the inside out? This isn't about isolation, it's about liberation. This is Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that teaches you how to build a mind and heart that are strong, clear, and independent from the opinions or presence of anyone else. By the end of this video, you'll walk away with practical tools, new mindsets, and deep truths that will shift your relationship with yourself and everyone around you. Let's begin the journey back to your power. You're staring at your phone, waiting for a message that doesn't come. You tell yourself you're fine, but your heart feels heavy. You refresh your feed, hoping for a sign, anything, that someone out there sees you, values you, thinks about you. And when it doesn't happen, a quiet voice whispers, "You're not enough." Sound familiar? Emotional dependency is something most of us fall into without even realizing it. We're not talking about connection. Human beings need connection, we're wired for it. But what happens when connection turns into dependency, when someone else becomes the sole keeper of your joy, your peace, your sense of identity? It becomes a cage. Beautifully decorated, seemingly loving cage, and you don't even know you're locked inside. Dependency starts small. A compliment lights you up. A reply makes your day. But soon, you're chasing those moments like a drug. If they ignore you, you spiral. If they leave, you shatter. Because without their presence or attention, you feel empty. And that emptiness, that's not caused by them. It's caused by forgetting who you are without them. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Seneca warned us about this. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because becoming free, truly free, requires letting go of your dependence on being liked, loved, or understood by everyone. Here's the brutal truth. When your happiness depends on others, you're never safe. You live in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough. And fear doesn't build freedom. It builds prisons. Let's go deeper with a real-life example. Meet Lara, a kind, funny, brilliant woman who for most of her life tied her self-worth to romantic relationships. When she was in one, she felt amazing. When she wasn't, she questioned her value. Every breakup wasn't just the end of a relationship. It felt like the end of her. But then, after one painful ending, something cracked. Not her heart, but her illusion. She picked up a book on Stoicism and stumbled on this line: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." It hit her. She realized she had spent years outsourcing her happiness, depending on people who were just as broken and searching as she was. It wasn't their fault. She had just never learned to stand on her own, so she stopped chasing. She stopped texting first, just to feel wanted. She sat in her discomfort and learned to be alone, not in loneliness, but in presence. And in that space, she discovered something she never expected: peace. Peace that no one could give her, and no one could take away. That's what happens when you break out of the cage. You stop waiting, you stop begging, you stop clinging to people who don't have the capacity to hold you. Instead, you begin to anchor yourself. You create your own validation. You learn to love yourself not in a Pinterest quote kind of way, but in a fierce, quiet, grounded way. You walk into rooms with your head held high, not because someone else told you you're worthy, but because you know you are. And suddenly the people you attract are different too. They're not drawn to your neediness. They're drawn to your stillness, your solidity, your wholeness. Here's the thing: people may leave, people may change, people may disappoint you, But when your inner foundation is strong, none of that shakes you to your core. This doesn't mean you stop loving. It doesn't mean you shut down or wall yourself off. It means your love becomes a gift, not a plea. A reflection of your fullness, not a desperate attempt to fill a hole. You were never meant to be someone's emotional project. You were meant to be whole on your own and to choose love from that place. So let me ask you, where in your life are you depending on someone else to make you feel okay? Who are you handing your power to piece by piece every time you silence yourself or ignore your needs? Take a breath. Feel the weight of those questions and know this. The first step to freedom is awareness. You cannot change what you do not see. But once you see it, once you see the bars of that emotional cage, you can start to unlock the door. The Stoics teach us that our mind is our kingdom, and no one gets to rule it but us. So let's keep going. Now that we've exposed the cage, it's time to learn how to build the mental strength that sets you free. The mindset that whispers, even in silence, I am already enough. In the last part, we uncovered the quiet prison of emotional dependency, a life lived on edge, waiting for others to make us feel whole. But what if you could live from a deeper place? What if you could reclaim your sense of worth, not from someone else's attention, but from your own quiet knowing? This is where the Stoic mindset begins, and it begins with one powerful truth: you are already enough. It's a truth that might sound simple, maybe even cliché. But for most people, here's a truth they've never actually lived. Instead, we've been conditioned to prove we're enough, to earn it, to chase it, to be smart enough, attractive enough, productive enough, always measuring ourselves by someone else's ruler. But the Stoics offer a different view. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And beneath that quote is a powerful belief. You are the only one responsible for how you see yourself. That's where true freedom begins. Imagine you're walking through a crowded street. All around you are voices, opinions, judgments. Some people praise you, some criticize. Some don't notice you at all. Now ask yourself, which of those voices determines your worth? The Stoic answer is simple: none of them, because your worth isn't in their words. It's in your being. You are not your job title. You are not your followers. You are not your past mistakes or your future plans. You are not what they say about you, or what they forgot to say. You are already whole. This doesn't mean you're perfect. It means your value isn't up for debate. You can grow, evolve, improve, but you don't have to earn your right to be here. You don't have to prove yourself to belong to yourself. Let's look at how this plays out in daily life. Every time you change your opinion to avoid rejection, you're forgetting that you're enough. Every time you shrink your voice to fit in, you're forgetting that you're enough. Every time you chase someone who isn't choosing you, you're forgetting that you're already enough. The Stoic mindset teaches you to come home to yourself, to stop outsourcing your peace to things you can't control. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, wrote in his journal, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig." That's the work. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to fix every flaw. You need to dig, to go inward, to unlearn the noise, to return to the quiet strength that was always there. Take Maya, a young artist who never felt enough. She was constantly comparing her work, her life, her path to others. Every like on social media gave her a high. Every lack of response sent her into doubt. One night, after spiraling from a post that didn't perform well, she asked herself, "Who am I when no one is watching?" That question changed everything. She started journaling, reflecting, reading Stoic texts. She stopped measuring her day by external validation and started measuring it by inner alignment. Did I show up with honesty? Did I honor my values? Did I speak to myself with kindness? That became her new metric. And over time, she began to stand taller, create more boldly, love more freely, because she finally believed, I am already enough. And from that place, something amazing happened. People responded more deeply, not because she needed them to, but because her energy was no longer demanding. It was overflowing. When you embody the Stoic mindset, your peace becomes unconditional. Your confidence becomes quiet. Your presence becomes powerful, not because you're shouting, but because you no longer need to. You've reclaimed the source. So let this be your mantra. I am enough, even when I'm doubted. I am enough, even when I'm unseen. I am enough, even when I'm growing. And from that wholeness, everything changes. You don't chase love, you invite it. You don't beg for attention. You radiate presence. You don't fear being alone. You learn to enjoy your own company. This is the power of a trained mind, a stoic mind. It doesn't seek validation. It creates value. And when your inner world is this solid, the outer world can't shake it. Now that we've laid the foundation with the stoic truth that you are already enough, it's time to take that mindset and put it into motion, because knowing you're enough is just the start. Living like you're enough, that's where the real freedom begins. The Stoics didn't just talk about theory. They practiced, they trained. They developed habits and principles that made their inner world stronger than anything the outer world could throw at them. Here are 11 keys, Stoic-inspired disciplines that will help you unlock inner freedom, not just temporarily, but for life. Be the hero of your own life. Stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You are not a side character. You are the main character in your story. Too often we place our healing, our dreams, our growth into someone else's hands, hoping a relationship will fix us, a mentor will guide us, or a perfect moment will arrive. The Stoics say, take ownership now. Start with one question. If this were my story, what would the hero do next? Live your answer. Control your emotions. You don't need to suppress your feelings, but you do need to master your response to them. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Train yourself to pause, breathe, reflect. Ask, is this emotion helping or hijacking me? Choose how you move, not how you feel. Pray. Learn to be with yourself. Silence can be intimidating when we haven't learned to sit with ourselves. But solitude is where self-trust is built. Schedule time alone, not with your phone, not with Netflix, but with you. Go for a walk, sit with your thoughts, write, feel what comes up. It's not about fixing, it's about being. Let go of what weighs you down. Not everyone deserves front row seats in your life. If someone drains your energy, disrespects your boundaries, or makes you doubt your worth, it's time to let go. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. It's choosing your peace over your people-pleasing. Simplify your wants. The Stoics believed that unnecessary desire leads to suffering. The more you chase what you don't need, the more you forget what you already have. Try this. Each day write down 3 things you're grateful for and 1 thing you don't need anymore. Freedom starts with less. Create before you consume. Before you scroll, create. Before you watch, build. Your energy is sacred. Direct it first towards self-expression, writing, speaking, crafting, thinking. Then engage with the world. Creation reminds you of your power. Consumption, if unchecked, can dull it. Detach from outcomes. You are responsible for your effort, not your results. You can love deeply and still lose. You can work hard and still face failure. The Stoics understood this. Focus on what's in your control, how you show up, how you grow, how you lead. Let the rest unfold. Say no with peace. Saying no doesn't make you mean, it makes you clear. Practice honoring your boundaries without guilt. Speak with kindness and firmness. If it costs your peace, it's too expensive. Walk away with grace. Not every chapter is meant to last. Some endings are invitations to rise. The Stoics believed in acceptance. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do. Grieve, release, and walk forward, calm, open, unburdened. And practice daily discipline. Big transformation lives inside small routines. Discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. It's choosing what serves you even when it's hard. Whether, say it's 10 minutes of journaling, a cold shower, a quiet morning, or an early bedtime, build rituals that honor your future self. Live according to nature. This is the Stoic golden rule. Live in harmony with nature, your nature. Accept what you can't control. Strengthen what you can. Act with courage, honesty, and clarity. And trust that life will unfold as it should. These keys aren't rules, they're invitations, not demands, but doorways. The more you walk through them, the lighter you feel. The less you chase, the more you attract. The less you fear, the more you trust. And slowly, step by step, you begin to live from a place that no one can take from you. Now that you've begun unlocking inner freedom through discipline, boundaries, and clarity, you stand at the threshold of a powerful shift. Because when you no longer need anyone to complete you, you are finally free to choose from a place of wholeness. This is the great turning point, the transition from needing to choosing. Needing comes from emptiness. It sounds like, I can't live without you. It clings, it chokes, it demands. Choosing comes from fullness. It says, I am already whole, and I invite you into my life. It flows, it frees, it honors. There's a quiet strength in choosing that needy love can never understand. It doesn't say, I need you to make me happy. It says, I am happy and I would love to share it with you. Imagine the difference in a relationship where no one is trying to own the other, where each person stands tall in their own, values their own truth, and chooses each other again and again, not out of fear but from freedom. This isn't just about romantic relationships. It applies to friends, family, work, community. When you operate from need, you compromise your boundaries just to keep people close. You lower your voice to avoid being left. You contort yourself into what they want you to be. But when you choose, from a place of self-knowledge, your boundaries protect the relationship. Your voice adds value. Your presence becomes a gift, not a transaction. Let's meet someone who embodied this shift. David was a musician who had spent years bending himself to what others expected, whether it was producers, fans, or friends. He was afraid that if he didn't people please, they'd walk away, and eventually they did anyway. After burning out, he took time to reflect. He turned to Stoicism, journaling every morning and asking himself, what am I compromising to be? Liked? Slowly, he started living from authenticity instead of approval. He stopped seeking applause, he started choosing presence. And not only did his relationships shift, so did his music. His art had more soul, more substance, because he wasn't performing anymore, he was being. This is what happens when you shift from needing to choosing. You stop forcing connections, you nurture what feels aligned. You stop chasing closure, you accept what is and move forward. You stop fearing solitude, you start enjoying your own company, and ironically, when you no longer need someone to stay, they're more likely to want to stay. Why? Because your calm is magnetic, because your independence is inspiring, because love, when chosen, not needed, is deeper, braver, freer. The Stoics taught that freedom is found in mastering our desires. When you no longer desire approval at any cost, you're free to act with virtue, with intention, with peace. So, how do you shift into choosing? Audit your attachments. Ask, where am I acting from fear, not love? 2. Practice gratitude in solitude. Remind yourself, this moment is enough. 3. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. That's how your inner world becomes your outer world. 4. Make space for alignment. Let go of what doesn't honor your values. The right people will meet you there. As you walk this path, remember, choosing is an act of courage. It requires knowing yourself so well that you refuse to betray yourself. Just to keep others comfortable, you choose peace even if it means losing popularity. You choose purpose, even if it means walking alone for a while. You choose presence because that's where your power lives. You've now seen what it looks like to break free from need and rise into intention. There's just one final step. Fully owning the truth that you've had the power all along. Let's bring it all together. You've journeyed through the shift, from emotional dependency to self-worth, to daily disciplines, to choosing over needing. And now you arrive here at the final realization. The power you were searching for was never in someone else's hands. It was always yours. This is not just the end of a lesson, it's the beginning of a way of life. Let's go back to the start. Remember those moments when you felt helpless, when your worth seemed to vanish because someone walked away, didn't respond, or disapproved. Those moments weren't reflections of your inadequacy. They were invitations, quiet, powerful invitations, to come home to yourself. The Stoics understood this deeply. They taught not to be ruled by the external, not to let praise inflate us or criticism shatter us. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength and ease. Strength isn't about control, it's about clarity. It's about knowing where your power begins and ends. It's about accepting the truth that you don't control who stays, what happens, or how others see you. But you do control how you show up, how you think, how you treat yourself. That's the shift from chasing to centering, from performing to being. Think of your mind as a house. When it's built on other people's approval, every passing comment can blow the walls down. But when it's built on your own values, your own practices, your own deep inner work, it becomes a fortress, not cold, not closed, but rooted. And from that place, everything changes. You'll still love people, but you won't beg them to stay. You'll still want connection, but you won't fear being alone. You'll still be hurt, but you won't be broken because you've returned to the source. This is what the Stoics meant by living in accordance with nature, living in alignment with truth, with virtue, with who you were always meant to be when the noise falls away. Let's take one final story to ground this. Julia was a single mother of two, rebuilding her life after a divorce that left her shattered. For years, she thought she needed someone to fix the loneliness inside her. She dated, she compromised, she exhausted herself trying to be chosen. But one day, after a particularly painful breakup, she stopped. She looked in the mirror and said, "What if I choose me?" She began to journal, to meditate, to study the Stoics. Slowly, she redefined strength, not as never needing anyone, but as never abandoning herself. She didn't isolate, she didn't shut down. She opened up to herself first, and from that openness, she started making better decisions, loving more freely, speaking more truthfully, and eventually, yes, she found love again. But this time it was different. It wasn't about filling a hole. It was about sharing her fullness. That's the life you're walking into. Not a life where you don't care, but a life where you care from freedom. Not a life where nothing hurts, but a life where pain doesn't define you. Not a life where you have all the answers, but a life where you trust yourself to keep asking the right questions. So what now? You take this mindset and you practice it. Every day when your mind says you're not enough, breathe and remember you are. When someone leaves, grieve, release, and remember you are still whole. When fear arises, welcome it, witness it, and remember you are stronger than you think. This isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily devotion to your center, to your truth, to your peace. And when life pulls you off track, and it will, you come back. Again and again, back to your breath, back to your journal, back to your nature, back to your power. Because the truth is, you never needed to be rescued. You never needed to be chosen to matter. You just needed to remember who you were before. The world made you forget, and now you have. So walk forward. Not waiting, not wanting, but welcoming what life brings. You've done the work. You've reclaimed your mind. You've risen. And the power? It was always yours. You made it to the end of this journey. That says something powerful about you. You're not just looking for comfort. You're looking for growth. You're not chasing validation. You're reclaiming your voice. And now you carry something most people never find. A calm so steady, a strength so rooted, it no longer depends on anyone else. So wherever you go from here, go with this truth. You are not alone because you have yourself. You are not weak for walking away. You are strong for walking toward your truth. And you are not here to be chosen. You are here to choose boldly, freely, and from a place of deep inner peace. If this video gave you clarity, courage, or even just a breath of relief, I invite you to support the channel by doing 3 simple things. Like the video. It tells the algorithm this message matters. Subscribe if you haven't already. This space is built for souls like yours seeking growth and grounded wisdom. Comment below, "I choose freedom," and let the world see a new generation rising with intention. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing you. Until next time, stay calm, stay rooted, and never forget, your peace is your power.